Hello everybody, my name is Cameron Avest Davis, the music producer and composer and whatnot for this YouTube channel here. Woo, yeah. Today I'm going to be showing you how I made my latest song on the EP Numb, the title track, Numb.
When will it end completely? There's nothing left to feel, and my heart aches for a time when a little numbness was a break from all the pain. When will it end completely? There's nothing left to feel, and my heart aches for a time when a little numbness was a break from all the pain.
So here is my FL Studio project. I am really terrible at labeling anything, as you can see. It's all just pattern 1 through, 24 or something? I've got lots of patterns here, but that's it. Y'all are gonna have to deal with that. Unfortunately, I've gotten so deep into just never labeling anything that that's just how I write music now. Anyway, this first pattern, this opening pattern, sounds like this. You may be wondering why it sounds exactly like that when those notes don't line up at all on the piano roll, and that's because this is actually a sliced up audio sample that I grabbed from Cymatic's latest huge pack. Their latest pack was called Zodiac, and I actually purchased that after taking part in their beat contest. Really awesome pack of a bunch of different melodies, including a lot of vocal samples. This is a vocal sample from that. So after I sliced up the vocal sample, I then put a bunch of effects on it. I've got an EQ here knocking off all the low end. I have Cymatic's Pluto, which came with the Zodiac pack, which is adding a weird wow flutter thing, and a modulation and a reverb. If I take that off, you can notice it very obviously. I've also got a blood overdrive because almost everything in my music nowadays has some amount of distortion and overdrive on it. I have delay. This is Fruity Delay 3, which is adding that delay effect. I have a filter here because at various points it fades out. So after that comes in, a crash cymbal, reverse and forward comes in. And a pickup beat, which sounds like this, comes in. This is a closed hi-hat. And I did that hip-hop-y thingy with the thing. And I've got a few different hi-hats there. All of the hi-hats have just an EQ and a sausage fattener on it, just to make them big enough. And I have a kick drum, making kick drum noises. As when it drops into pattern 9, it also has this, which is a bass line, which is sort of sitting in the background, though. You can't really hear it. But you can hear it through the mix, and removing it does make a huge difference. This has a bit of an overdrive and an EQ on it to boost up the bass notes. It also comes in with this pad, which sounds like this. This is made in Toxic Biohazard, which is a 6-oscillator synthesizer that FL Studio, or rather Image Line, makes. But this it's just saws. It's just 3 saw waves with a chorus on them, which makes them sound a little bigger. It also has Sound Goodizer, which is sort of a compressor and limiter all in one, or an EQ all in one, on A, which makes it really nice and bright, and it has a limiter. Rather, this is a sidechain compressor, so that when it's playing with the kick drum, it sounds like this. After that, it comes in with a separate little intro-y sound. This is a super saw in Synth 1. Synth 1 is a 2-oscillator synthesizer that is completely free. I highly recommend it. It's one of my favorite things ever. This is making a super saw, so it's a saw wave, super detuned. It's actually 2 saw waves with a little bit of fine pitch on the second one up, just to make it a little more extra detuned. Unison, chorus, delay. Unison meaning that there's 4 different versions of the synthesizer playing at once. Chorus meaning that it's just sort of making it feel like it's bigger, like more voices are singing, even when it's not. That's sort of a fake version of Unison. That's my terrible way of explaining chorus. And delay is echo. So it's doing that. And I have this pattern that I wrote that sounds like this. In the music, funnily enough, it sounds very different. So here's what it sounds like when that comes in. After that intro section, it drops into the first verse, where this vocal sample, as I said, it fades out at one point, just does this for a while. And at the same time, this filter right here is making it fade out in a way.
Wake up every day thinking about a world that doesn't exist anymore.
Other than that, the only things that are happening are the same things that were happening in the intro, minus the hi-hats and minus the supersaw. These vocals here.
Wake up every day thinking about a world that doesn't exist anymore.
These have an EQ on them. It's got a pitcher, which is auto-tune on a sort of medium speed, just in case. It has 2 sound goodizers to make it really bright and loud enough, and it has blood overdrive, making it even louder and a little bit distorted. It also has EW Spaces 2, which is a really excellent, like super fabulous reverb that comes with East West studio orchestra and all that. After that first section of the verse, it comes in double tracked and adds in the hi-hats again.
The days all blend together, time is never meant so little. It feels like nothing ever moves me even through the middle. It almost feels like every pain I feel all day is a joyous thing, like hey, at least when bleeding I can feel those awful stings.
And at the same time, what's happening is that the kicks now have a clap, which is from Vengeance Samples, which just has an EQ and a sausage fattener, which is how I do most of my drums. And the hi-hats came back in, which are doing that fun little pattern. As the vocals and the reverse crash cymbal comes in, and it drops into a single kick drum, because you should always end 8 bars. If you're dropping off drums, you should always have one kick right on the first beat of the next section. Otherwise, it sounds not right. And it has the first part of this opening sample a couple of times. And then it goes into the chorus. The chorus obviously has all these vocal samples. It has a couple of like a lot of vocal samples here. Let me just do this. So all the vocal samples are double tracked here, including the screams and everything. First, I recorded "I'm a little numb" screaming a couple of times and layered those on top of one another, and then literally just cut out "numb" and repeated it a few times for this one. So it says, "I'm a little numb, numb, numb," but the numb I didn't have to record 3 times. And then the other part of this chorus, "When will it end completely?" Is double tracked as well.
When will it end completely? There's nothing left to feel.
And all these are, oops, forgot to turn that on, but all these are, all the chorus vocals have parametric EQ, a sound goodizer, and way more of a blood overdrive. Blood overdrive obviously is the distortion, but it also makes everything way louder. And it has EW spaces too, to make them nice and reverby so that they fill the space. Other things that are going on, the supersaw pattern came back. It also has this. Which kind of hurts your ears unless it's mixed in with all of the mix. And this is just a flex. Flex is like a preset library, which is actually really good. Like I have no qualms against presets from Black Octopus Pandora, and it's called Venus, and I edited a few of the settings there and added a parametric EQ. I also have on here what's known as the Doom Compressor, which is Mick Gordon's whole thing from the Doom soundtrack. What it does is it slams everything up to 0 decibels, including all of the reverb and delay. So notice those green lines on this section are all of the sounds being slammed up to 0 decibels, and it creates a really cool effect just on like a plunky synth that I've been really enjoying. It also has an overdrive because of course it does. In addition, it has this, which is a sort of Reese sort of thing. which is just doing a sort of an additional bass line, EQ'd, overdriven, and with a little bit of a sidechain compressor on that to follow the kick drum pattern. So the chorus ends up sounding like this. It then repeats the chorus. Nothing additional happens in this part of the chorus. And it goes into the sort of second verse bridgey section. I don't really have a bridge in this song. It's just intro, verse, chorus. But yeah. The bridgey section keeps the supersaw going. It has an extra thing here, which is it has an arpeggiator of a supersaw arpeggiator here. If I skip over here, I can show you what that sounds like. So it's just a supersaw, another supersaw, this time with an arpeggiator on so that it does this, which is fun. Effects are pretty basic on that one. EQ, sound goodizer, spaces, and this one has a Karma FX's low-pass filter so that it sort of fades in. The vocals here are pretty similar, I believe, but these ones are not double-tracked. It's just this vocal sample.
Give me a drink to drown my sorrows. I don't.
And it's going on with everything else. I also included this cool vocal loop from the Cymatics pack as well. It did not sound like that originally. If I take off all the effects, it sounds like this. Which weirdly fit perfectly in my music. I added a love filter. Love filter can do really weird sort of gatey effects. Gatey meaning like it dot 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 is a gate. So when I turned that on, it sounded like this. I then added Destructor, which is a sort of strange distortion filter that FL Studio has now. And I added a sound goodizer for good measure, so it sounds like this. And that comes in after the chorus.
Give me a drink to drown my sorrows. I don't want to think about it all anymore.
On the second part, it comes in with that hip-hoppy pickup beat. Into the hi-hats as they start again, and it introduces a secondary version of this vocal loop, except up an octave. So that's doing additionally weird things. The arpeggiator is coming in more and more, as you can see on this line. That's the filter bringing in the arpeggiator slowly. It brings in the opening synth again. And now my vocals start not double-tracked, but for the second part of them, they do. These vocals are both me singing straight, non-harsh vocals.
Maybe if I just get blasted the 7th time this week.
And then they come in with harsh vocals that I scream here as well, that are just with... They are set up to be on the chorus vocals effects track because it works well for screaming.
I can trick myself into believing it isn't all so fucking bleak.
So there's that. And that all comes in like this.
Trick myself into believing it isn't all so fucking bleak.
I did forget to mention that, like many of my songs, I also have this kick drum build-up thing. So it starts with a 4 to the floor and then goes to this. And then it goes to this. And then drops with one single kick drum as the drop happens. And then the chorus comes in. The chorus doesn't do anything interesting or different here, except it does have the arpeggiator going during this chorus. And then in the second part of the chorus, it introduces some marcato strings. I love marcato strings because they make everything epic. So this is what the marcato strings are doing. And then after it does that once on the first part of the second version of the chorus, that's the worst way of saying that ever, it then brings in a higher version of it. And then that ends it with that final C as the final part of this chorus happens. So the full chorus sounds like this. So that part is the, I did actually scream this last part of the chorus here. Not that one. I didn't have to be exactly on pitch there because it was mixed in with all the mix. I also wanted to mention that this part, I did actually sing that high note there. And I did it here as well. Which I'm rather proud of. That is the entirety of Numb, written by me. If you want to go check out the music video will be linked in the doobly-doo. Be sure to follow me here, like and subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. I will be posting things here as often as I can. In addition to that, my new single, Anxiety, is coming out May 14th, 2021, so be sure to check that out. The pre-save link for Spotify will be in the doobly-doo as well. Go check that out. Hope you enjoyed watching me explain semi-badly how I wrote this song that I'm really proud of, and I will catch you later. Bye-bye.